Hi, my name is Stanley010, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories floating around out there. And with COVID-19, these seem to be in overdrive, just far more than before, and far more circulation of them. One that I find rather interesting was the idea that COVID-19 is actually a pretext to force everybody in the world to have a vaccine and implant a microchip as part of the vaccine. Now, there's so many things wrong with that I don't know quite where to start, but let's start somewhere. So the microchip implants, there's a few different kinds, but the simplest ones are basically RFID chips, and they don't really contain that much information. They can't track where you are. They only talk at relatively near field, and they're about the size of a grain of rice, a large grain of rice. We can probably make them a little bit smaller using, you know, advanced research or whatever you want to call it, but there's limits as to how small you can go because you need an antenna and you need to get power to the device. So you need enough size to make it all work. It's not just a chip. The chip itself is quite small, but the rest of the stuff that goes with it, and that's the part that we have trouble shrinking, limits the size. So you might get it to the size of a small piece of rice rather than a large piece of rice, but it's still going to be noticeable. And if people don't know the difference between getting an injection where there's a liquid being injected to give you immunization against something or other and a piece of rice, then we have far more to worry about than just being implanted with a chip. Then there is part of that conspiracy theory also says that they want to track us. Well, these small chips don't really do much for tracking. They have no GPS in them and have no antenna capable of doing GPS. They're very short field capture, so it's really not usable for tracking people. You can have implants that would have GPS technology. There's a few companies out there that claim they have it. They're rather large, shall we say, and not really implantable in humans. The idea is that you can implant them in animals, like a cow or something. You could probably implant one of these chips with GPS in it. There is talk about them. There's one company that claims that they'll have one that you can implant in your pet dog. Dogs might not bark too much if you put a chip in them, even if it's relatively large. Humans, not so much. And the other thing is, I don't think the technology is anywhere near the point where you'd be able to implant it in a small dog. If you have a German Shepherd or something, yeah, it might be feasible. But even there, I think that they're more marketing hype than actual product. GPS in an implantable chip, while technically feasible, is just larger than most people would want to implant in their animals unless they really didn't like their animal and wanted to track it anyway. So it doesn't really make much sense. And implanting it into humans, of course, is even more problematic. Most people would be thinking of implanting a GPS tracker in, let's say, their kid or something like that. And you certainly wouldn't want to be implanting a large device into your kid. So that part of it really doesn't make any sense. And as I said, even if you're just using size of grain of rice size implant, you aren't going to fool people and get away with that when you're telling them that you're getting them a vaccine against something. So there is zero chance of COVID-19 being a ruse to implant microchips into people. Thank you. Have a good day.